What if Bigfoot was real? Not just a legend from logging towns, not just a blurry shadow caught on shaky film, but real, flesh and blood, muscle and instinct, a biological reality. Imagine a creature, ancient as the trees, hiding in the vast, forgotten folds of the wild, watching us, evading us, not because it's weak, but because it has learned that staying hidden is survival. For centuries, people have told stories. Hunters, campers, rangers, scientists. Thousands of reported sightings. Footprints too large to fake. Sounds in the night that don't match any known animal. But we dismiss them. We laugh. We label believers as fringe. We ask for bones, for DNA. And in their absence, we close the book. But what if we stopped dismissing? What if just once we accepted the premise? It exists. Then what? Could a massive primate survive in modern wilderness without detection? Would its biology resemble that of apes or something stranger? What would it eat? How would it raise its young? What intelligence might it possess? And most of all, why would it remain hidden? This is not a search for evidence. This is a guided thought experiment, a simulation. We will take the eyewitness reports seriously. We'll consider the tracks, the sounds, the stories. And then, using logic, biology, and ecology, we'll build a profile of what Bigfoot would have to be if it were real. This is not about belief. It's about possibility. And the uncomfortable notion that maybe, just maybe, we're not the only upright beings left. Let's begin. Although the term Bigfoot only gained popularity in the mid-20th century, stories of giant, mysterious, bipedal forest beings date back much further. Across North America, indigenous cultures have passed down oral traditions of wild men, creatures that walked like humans but lived apart from them, often on the edges of deep forests or mountainous terrain. The Salish people of the Pacific Northwest referred to such a being as Saskets, a guardian of the forest. The Lakota used the name Chie Tanka, meaning the silent elder brother. While each nation had its own term, the descriptions often bore uncanny similarities. Tall, hair-covered, reclusive, and imbued with spiritual or cautionary significance. As European settlers expanded westward in the 18th and 19th centuries, they brought their own tales of wild men seen at a distance, of enormous footprints found near logging camps, and of eerie howls echoing through the trees. In 1811, David Thompson, a Canadian explorer and cartographer, recorded finding massive footprints in the snow near Jasper, Alberta. He believed they may have belonged to a large bear, but the shape and gait were unusual. By the late 1800s and early 1900s, newspaper reports from remote communities described encounters with wild men of the woods. Some stories were treated as folklore. Others gained sensational coverage. In 1958, large tracks were discovered near Bluff Creek, California. The media dubbed the creature Bigfoot, and a new chapter of public fascination began. Just a few years later, in 1967, the infamous Patterson-Gimlin film emerged. A short strip of 16mm footage showing a large, upright, fur-covered figure walking through a dry creek bed and glancing back at the camera. Though heavily debated, the film became a cultural landmark, defining what many people imagine when they hear the name Bigfoot. Since then, thousands of reported sightings have continued to surface, each one further blurring the line between folklore and physical reality. If Bigfoot exists, it must be a biological organism, and biology follows rules. So what kind of creature are we talking about? Most eyewitnesses describe the same thing: a towering figure, 6 to 9 feet tall, covered in dark hair, massive chest, long arms that swing low, And eyes, deep set, intelligent, almost human. Let's begin with the size. To support that kind of mass, some estimates place it over 600 pounds. Its skeletal structure would need to be incredibly dense. Thick femurs, shorter lower legs, like gorillas, to carry weight efficiently over uneven terrain. Its feet, of course, are key. Tracks found from California to the Himalayas suggest a wide, flat structure. No arch, like modern humans. Better for stability, less suited for sprinting, more for silence. Then there's the hair. Some say fur, but hair would make more sense. Long, coarse, insulating. A creature adapted to cold, wet environments, capable of surviving winters in the Pacific Northwest, Alaska, even northern Michigan. Its digestive system, likely omnivorous. Scavenger and opportunist. Roots, berries, fish, small game, carrion, whatever the forest gives. And the lungs. Oh, the lungs would have to be huge to power those legs, to release those long, low howls people describe, like a foghorn in the woods. But where does it fit in the evolutionary tree? Some scientists believe the answer lies in the past. Gigantopithecus blacki, a real species of giant ape that lived in Asia, possibly up to 10 feet tall. Fossils place it in southern China 300,000 years ago. And some hypothesize it crossed into North America alongside early hominids via the Bering Land Bridge. We don't know if Gigantopithecus walked upright. But if it did, Bigfoot could be its last surviving descendant. A ghost species, hidden not by magic, but by evolution, by distance, by design, because the forest keeps its secrets, especially the ones that walk on 2 feet. If Bigfoot exists, then somewhere, right now, it is hiding. But where? We tend to think the world is small, mapped, measured, explored. But there are still places, vast places, where human presence is barely a whisper. In North America, these are the last great forests. The Pacific Northwest for instance. Millions of acres of old-growth woodland, towering evergreens, endless canopies, rain, fog, and silence. Places like Washington's Olympic Peninsula receive over 150 inches of rain a year. Under that cover, even a creature 10 feet tall could vanish. Then there's British Columbia an expanse so remote, researchers have found entire valleys untouched by modern mapping. Grizzly bears thrive there. So could something else. In the east, Appalachian ridges, stretch from Georgia to Maine. Rolling wilderness, broken only by small towns and mining roads. And in the north, Michigan's Upper Peninsula, holds some of the lowest population density in the U.S., with under 1 person per square mile. What do these regions have in common? Dense forest, low visibility, high rainfall, and crucially, abundant food: deer, berries, fish, fungi. These are not empty places. They are full of life. And they are hard to monitor. Even trained biologists struggle to track animals like cougars or wolverines. Creatures smaller, louder, and less elusive. So if Bigfoot were real, a nocturnal, intelligent primate, it would have every advantage. It could follow deer migrations, use caves, tree shelters, and riverbeds, move mostly at night, and avoid the one species it truly fears: us. Because the fewer eyes looking, the fewer truths discovered. And the forest is patient. It has time. It has space. And maybe it still has something we haven't found. If Bigfoot exists, could it think? Not just survive, but plan, communicate, remember? Let's begin with what we know about primates. Gorillas grieve their dead. Orangutans use tools. Chimpanzees teach their young. Even ravens can solve puzzles. And elephants recognize themselves in mirrors. So if Bigfoot is a large bipedal primate, perhaps even part of an unknown hominin lineage, it's not unreasonable to ask, is it intelligent? Many sightings describe behavior that seems deliberate. Observers report rocks stacked in patterns, twigs broken high in trees, or paths cleared of debris. Some say they've heard knocking, 3 hard bangs on wood, like a code. Others speak of long, low vocalizations, moans, whoops, chatter. Some even report a strange kind of mimicry, animal sounds that seem slightly wrong, too close, too measured. Could this be communication? Perhaps. Among gorillas, chest beating is more than aggression. It's a statement. Among wolves, howls relay distance, identity, and urgency. So why not among Bigfoot? And then there's the matter of evasion. How does something so large avoid cameras, drones, thermal imaging? Is it luck or is it learning? Most animals, when frightened, bolt. But reports of Bigfoot often describe something different. Stillness, silence, observation, as if it's watching us, judging risk, waiting for the right moment to vanish. That kind of restraint requires more than instinct. It requires cognition. And what if it doesn't live alone? What if these creatures, rare as they may be, travel in small family groups, moving like shadows, raising their young deep in the forest, teaching them the same lesson: stay hidden, stay safe. Because maybe the reason we haven't found them is that they've already figured us out. If Bigfoot is real, skeptics often ask, then where are the bodies? It's a fair question. In science, absence of evidence can be evidence of absence, but in the wild, nature plays by different rules. Think of the last time you found the remains of a bear, or a mountain lion, or even a deer. Despite millions of these animals across North America, their bones are rarely found in the forest. And when they are, they're often scattered, partial, or nearly gone. Decomposition is relentless. In damp, temperate forests, a large animal corpse can be reduced to nothing in a matter of weeks. Scavengers arrive within hours. Insects, fungi, bacteria, they all begin their work immediately. Within days, flesh is stripped. Within weeks, bones are buried under leaves, moss, and thyme. And bones don't last forever. They break, they rot, they sink into soil. Now imagine this happens not in a meadow, but in a ravine, under a fallen tree, miles from any human trail. But what if Bigfoot isn't just an animal? What if it has intelligence? Even rudimentary cultural behavior. Elephants mourn their dead. Some primates hide the remains of group members. Could Bigfoot do the same? If it travels in small family units, it might recognize death. It might remove scent traces, even bury remains. And if its population is small, say fewer than 1,000 across a continent, then sightings would be rare, and deaths rarer still. We also must confront our own limits. How often do we look? How much ground can we truly cover? And more importantly, how much do we miss? Simply because we weren't looking in the right way. In a world that assumes it has seen everything, we forget that nature is good at hiding things, especially the things that want to stay hidden. Imagine this. Tomorrow morning, a hiker captures it on drone. Not a blur, not a shadow. A clear, high-resolution image. A massive, bipedal figure, walking upright through an untouched clearing. The footage is verified, peer-reviewed, confirmed. Bigfoot is real. What happens next? First, science. Primatologists, anthropologists, evolutionary biologists, all converge. Sample teams are dispatched. DNA is sequenced. It doesn't match any known ape, hominin, or animal. Headlines erupt. New species confirmed in North America. Living relic of prehistory. Bigfoot is real and he's watching. Newsroom spin. Social media explodes. Memes, debates, outrage, awe. But beyond the headlines, the real shift begins. Laws would be drafted to protect the species. Forests could be declared off limits. Tourism surges. And with it, danger. Trophy hunters, opportunists. Governments move in. Military presence increases in dense forests. Thermal drones scan the treetops. Not to kill, but to contain. Because if Bigfoot is real, what else might be? Questions erupt. Is it the only one? Are there clans? How many? Do they remember us? Have they been watching for centuries? And for science, everything changes. Our understanding of hominid evolution fractures. What we thought extinct is not. Textbooks are rewritten. Species trees reshaped. And deep within scientific circles, a more unsettling question arises. How did we miss this? For society, the implications run deeper, Jhon. If Bigfoot is real, what else have we dismissed? What else hides between myth and reality? Faith is shaken, curiosity reignited. And the forest, once a place of peace, becomes complicated. Because now, every rustle, every crack of a branch might not be a deer, might not be the wind. It might be something watching us, as it always has. The discovery of Bigfoot would do more than rewrite textbooks. It would change us. Not just how we think about the forest, but how we think about ourselves. For centuries, humans have believed they stood alone, the last upright primates, the only species to build, to speak, to wonder. But what if we're wrong? What if something else made it too, and simply chose not to join us? The spiritual impact would be immediate. Some would see Bigfoot as a missing link, others, a fallen being. To some faiths, it would challenge creation itself. To others, it would confirm it. Entire philosophies would be forced to evolve. Are we truly exceptional? Is intelligence unique? Or is it inevitable? Then there's the ecological shift. Suddenly, forests are not just home to deer and bear, but to a fellow hominin, one with memory, family, possibly language. Every logging route, every drone survey, every campfire now intersects with something sentient. Conservation would no longer be just environmental, it would be ethical. Laws would change. Industries would adapt. Entire regions could be set aside, not for tourism, but for silence, for respect. And within that silence, a new humility may grow. Because if Bigfoot is real, what else might be? What else have we missed? Out there, or within ourselves? In a world that moves faster every day, where mystery is shrinking, and the wild is dying, Bigfoot would remind us that some truths still walk beyond the firelight. Unmapped, uncaptured, alive. So what are we left with? We've asked the questions. We've followed the logic. We've imagined a creature that walks like us, hides better than us, and maybe thinks more carefully than we ever have. But we haven't found it. No bones, no blood, no names. Just stories. Footprints, whispers in the fog, and the eerie certainty that something watches. Maybe Bigfoot is just that. A shadow. A mirror held up to human longing. A creature we invented to remind ourselves that the world is not yet conquered. Or maybe he's real. Not in fairy tales or photographs, but in the spaces between what we know and what we don't. There are still places we haven't mapped, still voices we haven't understood, still lives that unfold in the hush of the forest, where no cell signal reaches and no roads lead in. And maybe, just maybe, that's the way it should be. Because mystery is not a flaw in the world. It is a gift, a reminder that the earth is not ours alone, that it still holds secrets, and that silence can be sacred. So the next time you walk a quiet trail and the wind falls still and the trees hold their breath, listen, not for answers, but for presence. Because sometimes what we're looking for isn't proof, it's permission to wonder.